Welcome, students. Wow, we have a lot of students already. We have over 30 students. I'm going to let them come in. And this is their third session, so they kind of know the drill, but I'm just going to let them kind of come in before we start. You're coming into session C5.
Okay, so that's like every...
And make sure, you guys should be muted and your camera should be off automatically. The reps are going to go one at a time and introduce themselves and talk for 6 minutes. The order is going to be Adelphi, Emory if they have made it, Seton Hall, Suffolk, University of Chicago, University of Miami. And we're still getting a few more students. We have 96 students now, actually, everybody. So you guys have a good audience, 97. Okay, students, remember, you do have the option to type questions at any time. The reps, when they're talking, probably won't answer them, but later they might. They can either answer live, so everyone can see the answer if it's a generic question. If it's a private question, they'll answer you privately. And the session will be recorded so that you can look at it later, or any other sessions that you wanted to see. And I believe let me just double check and see if we have our Emory representative. Let's see.
I think she joined as a student. There's a question from her in the Q&A.
She's joined as a student. Oh my goodness. Hi, Emory rep. That's interesting. See if you can leave and come back so that you can actually present, because as a student, you won't be able to present. I'll just have somebody text you some instructions. But in the meantime, I think we're going to go ahead and let Adelphi get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So my name is Michael Cartusiello. I am an Associate Director of Admissions at Adelphi University, and I am really excited to talk to you all today. Try and keep this brief and quick. I know you've been listening to a lot of schools. It can feel overwhelming, like an overload. So just kind of listen to those basic facts, and we will definitely have an opportunity to get in touch with us after if you have any questions. So Adelphi University is located in Garden City, New York. We are actually on Long Island, and it is only a 40-minute train ride away from New York City. I live in Brooklyn myself. I have commuted and done that 40-minute train ride for 2 years. It is really, really easy. I've also driven for 3 years, also really easy. And what that does is it allows you access to a major city without missing out on that typical college experience with that suburban campus. We have just over 5,000 undergraduates, so we're technically medium size, plenty of people to get to know, but we don't have large class sizes. So the largest class you're going to find is only 50 students. That's it. So when we say we have an average class size of 21, it's a genuine average class size. We mean it. And we really want to emphasize that 10-to-1 student faculty ratio. So you're going to get to know your professors, get to know your classmates. And then we also have a really involved student body, over 80 active clubs and organizations, and 2 out of every 3 of our students are actually involved in one of our clubs. You know, students from all over the country, students from all over the world, but the thing I want to highlight most on this slide is that 95% of our graduates are either working or pursuing a graduate degree within 6 months, which is huge. So we have over 50 academic programs. It's also really easy to change your major. Students like to double major or do a major minor combination. Some of our most popular programs include nursing, biology and pre-health sciences, psychology, business, communications, criminal justice, performing and visual arts. Really a lot of different options for you. We also make it even easier by having many 4+1 programs, so you can actually accelerate and get your master's degree with only an additional 1 year instead of an additional 2. A really popular program there is for education. We also have some honors programs like our Honors College and our Global Scholars Program. And we're really well known for support programs as well. We have fee-for-service programs for students on the autism spectrum, which is Bridges to Adelphi, and then the Learning Resource Program, which is for students with language-based learning disabilities and ADHD. Separately, our Student Access Office provides accommodations to all students who have a learning difference. So we are officially test optional this year, which is super exciting. So we're going to look a lot more heavily at your transcript if you are applying test optional. On average, we're seeing students come in with a 3.5 GPA. For us, it's an 88 out of 100. If you do choose to submit your test scores, we've seen an average of an 1160 on the SATs or a 24 on the ACTs. We only require one letter of recommendation, but you're welcome to send more. We also require an essay. We're rolling admissions. We have an early action deadline of December 1st, but honestly, we are constantly reviewing applications, and we really do promise that 4-week turnaround. So if you apply to us by January 1st, you will receive your decision by February 1st. We also have automatic scholarship consideration, and actually 87% of our undergraduates are receiving some form of scholarship, which is huge. And 94% of our undergraduates are receiving a combination of financial aid, scholarship, or it's most often both. So even though we're a private school and our tuition is with room and board around $56,000 a year, our scholarships range from $10,000 to $28,000 a year, and there is a lot of opportunity to kind of help make Adelphi a lot more affordable. I think I spoke a little quickly, but this is probably good. I would just encourage you all to get in contact with us if you can. We are hosting virtual tours every day, and it's not just watch a video. You will get to be guided on the virtual tour with a current tour guide as well. You can always contact us with questions, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you so much. We actually do have Emory. She was accidentally in as a student, but we got her in as a panelist. So she's ready, I believe, to present.
Yes, thank you.
And we have 128 students, by the way, everybody.
Perfect. Okay, let me share my screen.
Yes.
Thanks for the quick flexibility there. Okay, hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Cecily Spindell, and I am an admission officer at Emory University. I'm also an alum of the university. I graduated in 2018, and so if you do have questions, about the student experience and what it's like to be a college student in Atlanta, feel free to throw those in the chat, and I'm definitely willing to talk about that, especially as it's hard to come to campus right now and kind of get to interact with our current student ambassadors. On the screen here, you'll see an overview of all of the different options that are available to undergraduate students at Emory. So when you think Emory University, like big university name, we are a university located in Atlanta, Georgia. And there's 9 different colleges, 9 different divisions within this school. And these include things like our law school or our medical school. And 4 of these divisions serve undergraduate students. And those are the 4 that you see here at the bottom: Emory College, Oxford College, the Goizueta Business School, and the Woodruff School of Nursing. At its core, for undergraduate students, Emory is really rooted in the liberal arts. So all students will start at either Emory College or Oxford College. No student enters the university with a pre-declared major. We give students those first 2 years of college to really figure things out. We want you to take classes in departments that might be completely new to you. We want you to learn from professors who you might not otherwise get to work with had you already come into, a specific academic department. So there is a lot of academic flexibility, and kind of to dive into a little bit of the nuances between Oxford and Emory College. Academically, these schools are equivalent. You can begin any major at either college. You can receive pre-health advising or pre-law advising at either college, as well as work towards applying into the Goizueta Business School or the School of Nursing. And it really comes down to the environment in which they are really distinct. And so, as you're thinking about college and thinking, what kind of environment do you want to be a part of, and what kind of college campus are you looking for? There are lots of things out there, first of all. And Emory College and Oxford College really provide 2 separate options. Emory College has about 1,300 students in each grade. And in addition, this campus is located within the city of Atlanta, It is a contained campus, and Atlanta as a whole is a pretty suburban city. There's a lot of cute neighborhoods, a lot of places to feel more like you're, in a suburban area. There's a lot of green space there, but it is within the city. And in addition to all of the undergraduate students who are on this campus, all of the graduate students are located on that Atlanta campus, as well as Emory's hospital. So on any given day, there can be about 15,000 people there. And so it's a really good environmental fit for students who are looking for that kind of hustle and bustle. And on the other hand, Oxford College is located about 45 minutes east of Atlanta. So right off the bat, we're going to be outside of the city, and that's going to provide a different environment. And Oxford College just has about 1,000 students on campus. So it's also going to be a much smaller student body. Kind of the unique aspect of Oxford is that students will just spend the first 2 years there, and then every Oxford College student moves onto the Atlanta campus for their junior and senior year. Again, you will have the opportunity to select if you're interested in applying to Oxford College, Emory College, or both. And you'll find that it's pretty intuitive to figure that out when you're looking at the application. There's just a series of drop-down menus, and you'll get to select the college as well as the decision plan. Emory University has 3 different decision plans. There's Early Decision 1, Early Decision 2, and Regular Decision. The deadlines for that are up on our website. And in addition, we also have a merit scholarship deadline. So all students who are interested in being considered for any merit-based scholarship at Emory need to submit their normal application. Again, that's the Common, Questbridge, or Coalition application by November 15th of your senior year. So even if you're interested in applying as a regular decision applicant or an ED2 applicant, for which the deadline is January 1st, you'll still want to go ahead and press submit on the computer by November 15th. And lastly, I'm keeping an eye on the time. I just want to put in a quick note kind of in regards to COVID and how the college process has shifted for this year. I just want to remind students that, in every way that your school year feels different, and in every way that the college process has kind of been upended and derailed, know that we're feeling that too. In the Office of Admission at Emory, flexibility is really crucial to us in this upcoming cycle and in cycles to come. Know that we are prepared to work with you. We're prepared to work with your school, your counselors, and your teachers. And we know and we're feeling that things are going to be different. And so we're ready to see applications and anticipate all of those differences, but just give yourself some grace. And again, know that you're not going through this alone. We are having to adjust to many of the changes that you might be as well. So with that, I'm going to conclude. I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That was a whirlwind.
It was. Thank you so much for being able to join us. All right, Seton Hall, you're next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ernia Evans. I am the Southeast Regional Representative for Seton Hall. Today, I have with me one of our amazing student workers. Her name is Jay Morris. She'll be available to answer questions in the chat. So, Seton Hall, we're a small private liberal arts Catholic school located in South Orange, New Jersey. And although we only have about 6,000 undergraduate students, we offer the advantages of a large research university, coupled with the benefits of the small, supportive, and nurturing environment. As I stated, we're located in South Orange, New Jersey, so we're about 14 miles outside of New York City. That's a 30-minute train ride right into New York, so you can do all the amazing and fun things that New York has to offer without feeling trapped in being in New York at all times. We have 90 programs spread out over 7 colleges. Some of our popular majors are business, sports management, athletic, accounting, finance, the School of Diplomacy and International Relations, anything in the health sciences, are dual enrollments for physical therapy, athletic training, physician assisting, as well as communications and the arts. So we have a little bit of everything for everyone. Being that we're so close to New York City, our students are able to do internships all year long. We are fourth in the nation for internship opportunities. So you can, if you want an internship in your field, you can get one. And 98% of our intern providers say that they would hire our graduates if they had spots available. So when you leave us, you'll be prepared to work, so you won't have to go out and get prepared. Our Center for Academic Success is an amazing award-winning academic advising program. It gives you the opportunity to get acclimated to being on a college campus coming straight out of high school. We don't want you to just be dumped off and not have some kind of guidance. So we created a program that allows you to get that wonderful, wonderful experience to get you acclimated to being on our campus. We have over 130 clubs and organizations for students to get involved in, 22 Greek organizations, a dozen student-led theater performances, carnivals, festivals, performers that come on campus. So your boredom is determined by your participation. We are a Division I Big East athletic conference, with basketball being our biggest. However, we do have over 25 clubs and intramural activities, and about 50% of our students participate in those activities. So again, stuff to do on campus and in South Orange if you don't want to go off to New York, but again, your boredom is determined by your participation. We do have housing on campus, and 80% of our students do live on campus, with 6 residence halls, 2 apartments, and resident assistants in each dorm, as well as a priest. So again, you'll have a comfortable way of life while being on our campus. We are private, and although our sticker cost is about $61,000, we do try to make that as affordable as possible. We do give out scholarships and grants that majority of them come directly from Seton Hall. Some will be special scholarships that you can apply for. Every student will receive a merit-based scholarship. However, if you do apply for some of those special scholarships, you can stack them on top of your merit scholarship. You don't have to choose between the two. So again, although we're small, private, and our sticker price is higher, you can find different ways to make that make your tuition affordable. How to apply to Seton Hall is very simple. You can use the Common App or the Seton Hall app. It doesn't matter to us. Our early action deadlines of November and December 15th are non-binding. It just means you're interested in Seton Hall and want to receive some of the better scholarship money that we offer, but you also can apply using regular decision on February or March 1st. Here you'll see how the things that we need for you to apply. But this year, although you see we require an SAT and an ACT, we are test optional. So you can submit your test scores if you like or not. It's completely up to you if you've taken the test or if you don't think your scores are high enough. However, we do have one program that is not test optional, and it is our dual MD program. But we do a holistic review on a regular, but demonstrated interest will play a very vital part in applying this year. You can visit us 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. We do our virtual or in person. If you do a virtual info session, it is followed by a live student guided tour. So you will have a student guide who will go over and answer questions while they're walking you through campus, but you can visit in person, and we are practicing social distancing and that type of thing. We do have several virtual open houses coming up, one being this coming Sunday on October 18th. But then you can also do video tours where we have students just walking around campus, and it's on YouTube. So you can use these tools to visit campus and see what campus is like. And again, that demonstrated interest pays a part. So doing a campus tour or open house would be great. This is my contact information. You can follow us on social media. And myself and Jay will be in the chat to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So next we have Suffolk University.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm going to share my screen. I know that we spend all day on Zoom looking at presentations, so I always say I try to make this as painless as possible. So with 6 minutes, I'd like to get down to the core of Suffolk University and why you may be interested in it. To kick off, so we are located right in the heart of downtown Boston. I know Boston is a bit away from Florida, so if you're not familiar with the city, I'd like you to turn your attention to our map here. Like I said, we're very much woven into the urban fabric of the city. there's no real distinction between where Boston ends and where Suffolk begins. We very much bring Boston into the classroom and leave our campus to explore at the same time. If you look at this map and being unfamiliar, you may think that we're spread all entirely throughout the city, but it's really just within one neighborhood. So if you look up here at number 7, that's our Ridgeway Gym facility. If you follow my mouse down to number 11, this is a residence hall. That right there is about a 15-minute walk. So although we love the city and we're always in the city, we're very much clustered, not gated, but clustered. So we make sure it's not overwhelming in that way. If you look down to the right corner of your screen, you'll see an image taken from inside our Miller Residence Hall. This is taken up on the 12th floor, and you'll see, you get views of Boston and Cambridge. And the reason I include that photo is to give you an idea of what living at Suffolk is like. When you're in the dorm, you have a roommate, you have a resident advisor, an RA, so it feels like you're in that college setting. But the minute you step outside, again, you're in the city. Our dorms are modeled after high-rise apartment buildings. If you look up here in the upper right-hand corner, this is one of our academic buildings right on Tremont Street, which is where all the parades in Boston go down. So if you're someone looking for a lively campus, looking to live a very urban lifestyle, we are definitely a way to achieve that. Pivoting here, being aware of time, I want to touch on academics. We have 2 colleges here at Suffolk. We have the College of Arts and Sciences and the Sawyer Business School. Between those 2 colleges, we offer over 70 different majors. So there are a lot of different avenues to take when it comes to what you want to study. I would say our most popular tend to be law. We have our own law school here, Suffolk Law, and we have accelerated programs between our undergraduate and our JD programs. So a lot of students come to us and want to get that head start and having access to law faculty and things along those lines. So definitely number 1. Number 2, business. A lot of students come to Suffolk for business. We're in downtown Boston. We have the finance district right in our backyard. A lot of Boston-based corporations and companies turn to our business school to take recent grads on as employees. So a lot of students come for business-related degrees. Next up would be social sciences. So if you're thinking along the lines of psychology, sociology, criminal justice and reform, that's another area where a lot of our students focus, and we have very well-versed faculty there. My final major I like to give a shout out to is biology. So again, we're in Boston. I would argue we have the best hospital network in the country. I might be biased, but I think the stats back me up. And so a lot of our biology students take on internships in these hospitals to get that hands-on experience to then prepare for the medical school application process. I'm happy to take questions about specific majors in the chat, but for now, one thing I really want you to know is the way that we approach academics. So overall, we're about 5,000 undergraduate students on our campus, but average class size is 21 students. We at Suffolk, each class is modeled after hands-on learning. So we, in our classes, you're doing research with a professor, you're doing partnership, you're doing with different companies, you're doing group projects, all of that sort of thing. So if you're someone looking for hands-on learning in a small environment, you'll find that across any of our programs. College is different than high school. You're only taking a certain amount of classes a day, and they're much shorter than your average high school day. So the way Suffolk students fill their time are through a number of opportunities. First and foremost, again, exploring the city. Our students love Boston. But we're not just the city, we are also Suffolk. So a lot of our students take advantage of all the different organizations we have here on campus. If you check out the screen, you'll see a short list of some of the clubs that we have that tend to be more popular on campus. But I always say, whatever you are interested in, it's highly likely we have an organization that's reflective of that interest. So, volunteer programs, musical groups, identity-based groups, Greek life, we have that all here on our campus. We also have sports. So we are Division III, meaning that we didn't have to recruit you when you were like 12 to play for us. You can actually reach out to our coaches directly and set up an open tryout to participate at the college level. So let's say you play baseball and you're realizing now you want to continue that at a competitive level in college. You can reach out to our baseball coach anytime throughout your admission process. So keep that in mind if that's something you're looking for. Study abroad. We have at our Boston campus, we're very global. So 21% of our undergraduate student body is made up of international students. Boston's a global city. There's definitely a global feeling there, but we know the value of having those global connections. So we try to keep those outward connections as strong as we can. We do those through a number of ways, but I think the most interesting way is through our campus in Madrid, Spain. So when you apply to Suffolk on your common application or your Suffolk application, you'll see, are you applying to our Boston campus, our Madrid campus, or both? The opportunity that you have at the Madrid campus is you can study there for your first 2 years, so freshman and sophomore year in Madrid, and then come back to Boston for junior and senior year. If you want to immerse yourself in European culture and Spanish culture, but you still want to be working on an American degree, this is the best way to do it. Of course, you'll see listed we have all those traditional study abroad opportunities as well, but for the sake of time, I'm going to pivot away from those for now. Finally, the important stuff, application tips and financial aid. So when it comes to what we're looking for your application, we require a transcript, we require an essay, at least one letter of recommendation. Please don't do more than maybe 3. I had 7 this past year, and it gets a little repetitive after number 3. And then finally, we do not require an SAT or an ACT score. This is something that we actually decided on before the pandemic. So of course, with the pandemic inhibiting a lot of test taking, we're very glad that we made that decision, but just know that this is something we're going to do forever. So we don't require an SAT or an ACT score. If you want to submit it, that's totally fine, but it's never needed. Finally, a couple deadlines to be aware of. We have early action, November 15th, and regular decision, February 15th. And with that, I will wrap up my 6-minute spiel and turn it back to you.
Thank you. You guys are doing great. Thank you. We have University of Chicago next.
Sure. Hey, y'all. Let's get started. So, hey, my name is Will Harold. I'm an Associate Director of Admissions at the University of Chicago, and we only have a limited amount of time today, so rather than try to encompass everything about the university, I thought I'd take the opportunity to try to do something different and focus on Chicago's place on the cutting edge. And most other presentations, this is where I'd launch into an overview of the 91 different Nobel Prizes we've won, how we proved the existence of black holes, how we split the atom for the first time. But I might even talk about our famous core curriculum that has been producing creative thinkers and problem solvers for over 100 years. But all those things are about the past, and the cutting edge is all about right now, right? So I think we should talk about the awesome research being done at Chicago's 3 national research laboratories, which undertake nearly $500 million of research funding every single year. These research projects give our college students an unparalleled opportunity to work in labs and make the universe gain discoveries that you might read about in your textbooks. And for example, this is actually a picture of Fermilab's particle accelerator, which helped to discover the Higgs boson in partnership with the Large Hadron Collider at CERN in 2012. Or we could talk about our new Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering, in which students and faculty members learn how to literally manipulate the fabric of the universe, exploring the use of subatomic particles to create new materials, methods, and techniques that solve some of the world's biggest problems in themes like medicine, energy, and technology. Better yet, I could talk about the big announcement from this summer, where Fermilab, the Pritzker School, and the United States Department of Energy announced a new initiative to launch a quantum internet using entangled particles to transmit information instantaneously over great distances. But I didn't want to limit this to just one kind of cutting edge. So I also want to focus on the cutting edge found here in Cobb Hall, which is actually our oldest classroom building on campus. Cobb is central to so many things in Chicago. You will take core classes in its small discussion-oriented classrooms. You'll run to get coffee at the painfully hip Cobb coffee shop in the basement, which has been run by students for over 30 years. You may even reserve a movie theater for the 4th floor for a private screening of your favorite movie or your next short film. But on the 5th floor, you're going to find the Renaissance Society. And the Renaissance Society is an art gallery dedicated to fostering and promoting contemporary art and artists. It was founded back in 1915 by a group of Chicago faculty and helped bring avant-garde art and practices to Chicago through presentations of Matisse and Calder and Van der Rohe and others. For the past centuries, continue to feature exhibitions from up-and-coming artists like Marc Chagall and Frank Lloyd Wright, who later became established stars. And best of all, the Ren is free. And to give you a sense of what it's like to visit the Ren, I included this picture of an exhibition by Felix Gonzalez Torres, a Cuban-born artist active in the 80s and 90s. And from a distance, you can see the work actually looks like a giant fluffy carpet, the kind you might want to wiggle your toes in. And as you approach, you would see the carpet is actually a huge layer of candy. And even better, you're being encouraged to take a piece with you. But if you're anything like me, you might be disappointed to find out the candy is actually licorice. Sorry. The Ren is actually one of 2 completely free art museums on campus. The other is a Smart Museum, which also hosts and curates exhibitions to accompany classes you can take on campus. The Smart also hosts a program called Art to Live With, which allows current students to take home parts of their permanent collection to exhibit in their dorm rooms, including centuries-old etchings and even a work by Takashi Murakami, you might know from his collaborations with Kanye West. There's also faculty in Chicago that are themselves practicing artists. For example, you might know William Pope L., who's known for his crawls, like The Great White Way, where Pope L dressed in a Superman costume, attached a skateboard to his back, and crawled the entire length of Broadway in New York City. which is over 22 miles. He had a retrospective of his work at the Museum of Modern Art just last year. There's also Theaster Gates, who uses found objects for his art, including this piece, which is the revitalization of an abandoned bank on Chicago's South Side, and now provides a space for the local community to create and curate art that reflects their culture and their heritage. Jessica Stockholder is also the current chair of the Department of Visual Arts, as well as an active artist whose work has been featured at the Whitney Museum, MoMA, and the Venice Biennale. All of these professors regularly teach classes to undergrads and have outstanding course reviews. Students are deeply involved in the arts as well. With nearly 500 different student organizations, you can find Art Should, which promotes the arts through tutoring and mentorship on the South Side of Chicago, or Moda, a fashion magazine run and produced by students with over 60 different photographers, stylists, writers, models, and more. All of these classes and RSOs are open to any Chicago student, regardless of your major or you're in the college. So to wrap up, I just want to return to Cobb Hall and a reminder that in Chicago, the cutting edge is everywhere, even in the oldest building on campus. And if you have any more questions about UChicago, please send them in the chat. Send me an email at wagrald@uchicago.edu or apply through the Common App or Coalition app. All right, have a good one now.
Will, you actually do have a question in there that you can reply to.
Killer.
Thank you. And then we have the University of Miami, last but not least.
Great. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me today. Thrilled to be here. My name is Liz Whitby. I'm the Associate Director of Admission at the University of Miami, also a very proud alumna of the University of Miami. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And, oops. So just a little bit, I'll just talk briefly about history of UM, our academic opportunities, extracurricular, and admission process. And those are the few things I'll touch on in my 6 minutes. So briefly, we are one of the younger universities, founded in 1925. So we're just about to hit our 100th birthday, which we think makes us, you know, as any young person compared to schools that might have been around a couple hundred years, we are dynamic, forward thinking, cutting edge in technology, never resting on our laurels, and really always looking to be at the forefront in every way. So we're a medium-sized institution, just under 11,000 students, and our students hail from all over the world, more than 100 countries represented in all 50 states. But for a medium-sized school, we have giant opportunity with more than 180 different majors and 9 undergraduate schools and colleges. So we always say we have big opportunity, but we have the personal attention of a much smaller school with an average of 17 to 27 in our classes and a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Our students come from, again, all over, or about a third of our students come from right here in Florida. And when I'm working with Florida students, I always like to tell you to kind of take your Florida resident hat off for a second and look at the University of Miami as if you were coming from another part of the country or another part of the world. Oftentimes Florida students feel real comfortable with it because it is in your backyard, and maybe you've been to campus for camp, or you've been there for basketball game or sporting event, and you feel like you know the U. But definitely take a look at it with a different lens when you're looking at taking a look at the University of Miami in your college search. So I mentioned we have 9 undergraduate schools and colleges. We also have our Miller School of Medicine, as well as our School of Law. But of course, in those undergraduate schools and colleges, we also have a lot of graduate programs, PhD programs, as well as some +1 and +2 programs if you want to continue on in your studies. Something unique about our curriculum is that although you'll have a major in one of these schools or colleges, you're not siloed in learning in that school or college, and you are able to take advantage of everything that we have to offer. And we do that through our curriculum, which we call cognates. This is something that is a distinction here at UM, where students, instead of having a laundry list of classes that you have to take, which most schools call gen ed requirements, we call them cognates. And so you're taking 3 classes in 3 different areas of knowledge, which are STEM, arts and humanities, and people and society. And those 3 classes are actually going to be tied together by a common topic, a common subject area, or maybe a common problem to solve. So in Sebastian's case, he was an aerospace engineering major, and he fulfilled his STEM cognate or STEM gen ed requirements by virtue of taking his classes. If you've ever seen Sebastian, he's been at our sporting events, so he decided to fulfill that people in society cognate. He's doing sports communication. He takes 3 classes in that area, and he's filled his gen ed requirements in that area. And lastly, for arts and humanities, he did philosophy. And by taking 3 classes in that area, again, he's fulfilled those requirements. The cool thing about it is that you'll see a lot of UM students who have double majors or double or even triple minors because of this cognates program. You're able to explore what interests you, take what you want to take, follow your curiosity wherever it takes you, and you're not losing any time. You're able to do that and still add that into your graduation plan. So just by adding 2 more classes to sports communication or philosophy, Sebastian would automatically have his minor. So studying, of course, happens outside the classroom as well as inside the classroom. We have a few different ways you can study abroad, although a lot of students come to Miami and feel like they're doing a bit of a study abroad experience in and of itself. But if you want to go, we have about a dozen U programs, which are UM students, UM faculty taking UM classes. They've just picked them up off our campus and brought them elsewhere, with our most popular programs being in the Galapagos Islands, where students love to go and study marine science and biology. And then we have partner programs with about 80 other colleges where you can take what you want for the duration of time that you want, whether it's a semester, a year, or a summer. And the best thing is that your study, that your scholarships, your need-based financial aid will follow you abroad. Now, we are an undergraduate research university, meaning that you can start doing this research starting in your first year of college. And it's not something that's just reserved for graduate students or faculty members. Through our research office, you can do a little match.com and they'll set you up with something that interests you. It doesn't have to necessarily be in your major. And with research, it's not always in the sciences. So sometimes people tune me out when I say research, but it's in our music school and it's in our school of communication, engineering, architecture, business. There's so many different ways you can take advantage of this, which will make you all the more marketable when you're looking for graduate programs or you're looking to get that entry-level job. Our students are super active with more than 300 student-run clubs and organizations. Some of them are co-curricular, so they're complementing what you're doing in the classroom, and some of them are extracurricular and some strictly for fun. We do have Greek life on campus, so if that interests you, about 25% of our students are in sororities and fraternities. If that's not your thing, then you're still in the majority then, with 75% of our students who choose not to. Athletics are a big deal as well, with our Division I, NCAA. We're part of the ACC conference with 18 different sports for men and women, as well as almost 50 club sports and intramurals. So getting into the application part, this is just a glimpse of our admission profile from this past year. And I'll go through what the different steps are for applying. Am I running over time, Kelly?
You did, but
Sorry.
I think it's okay. I mean, if you want to,
I can go really fast.
Yeah, there's a lot of students on this, and I have a feeling a lot of them are interested in you. So
okay, so I'll go.
In the you. So
yeah, so there's our checklist. Common application. We don't use coalition. We don't have our own. We do have a new supplemental essay that's really short, 250 words. Looking at your transcripts, the most important thing: rigor of your curriculum and your grades in your core classes, and we will recalculate your GPA. We're looking for that letter of recommendation from your counselor and from the teacher who knows you and loves you the most. You all know who that is. And like these other schools who are here today, we are test optional for this spring and for this fall. And I can promise you and assure you that you are at no disadvantage if you don't send your test scores. These are our deadlines. We have early decision 1 and early decision 2, the 2 binding contracts or binding agreements, as well as early action and regular decision. And my one recommendation is there's no reason to wait until January 1st to apply. If you apply by November 1, you're considered for merit awards. We are meeting 100% of demonstrated need for all admitted students starting this year. And we are a school that requires both the FAFSA and the CSS profile. And of course, all of the supporting documents. So sorry for going over, everybody.
No, I think it's fine because a lot of those things are applicable to all colleges. There was a question in the chat that asked about film and photography. And I know that Emory had a chance to answer it, but I think the rest of you might want to answer that as well. And actually, what I would love to do right now, since we don't have any other questions in the chat, is to take that one question that I promised I would ask you and let each of you answer it, which is, what is your favorite tradition at your university?
I can start since I think I'm still on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm an alumna of the university. I'm a huge sports fan of the university. But beyond that, homecoming is a huge deal at our college. We have a big, we have a beautiful lake in the middle of campus with a giant fireworks show. And really the whole weekend is beautiful. And of course, everyone comes back, all the alumni, but we do a boat burning. And so homecoming is kind of one of those, gives you the butterflies types of thing with our alumni and our traditions.
Great. I don't know, you want to go in order? Adelphi, you want to go?
Sure. Similarly, you know, I my 6 years working here, they've actually kind of created a new tradition and combined some old stuff. So actually this weekend, instead of a separate homecoming and family weekend, we just have one spirit weekend, which is great. And on a normal year, Saturday is a huge carnival. They take over the parking lot and they put in rides and fair games and everything. And they used to have a homecoming king and queen, but they've become much more gender inclusive, and we now call it prestigious Panther. We are the Panthers. So there's that big ceremony there. And then usually Sunday is a big day where we offer lots of discount tickets to events within New York City. We've gone to a Giants game before. It's even farther in New York City, and Broadway shows. This year, of course, it is virtual. And actually, one of the things they're highlighting for a somewhat on-campus option is a decorate your car contest, so that if you're going to come and parade by, it's at least safe and social distant.
Great. Emory? Yeah, great.
Yeah, sure. I would say my favorite tradition at Emory is something called Dooley's Week, and this occurs in the spring. It's typically in April, and Dooley is Emory's unofficial mascot. He is a skeleton, which it sounds kind of odd, but there's this whole lore, this like old fable that a skeleton emerged from one of the old biology labs like back many years ago. And today a student dresses up as Dooley in this skeleton outfit, and seniors get selected to be Dooley's bodyguards, and it's a huge campus honor. And so we always have a week in the spring to honor Dooley. Students get super excited about this. There's always a theme, and the campus is completely decked out to go along with that theme. And there's like a food truck event that happens every week. They bring a comedian. Dooley's Week always concludes in a concert. I remember when I was a student at Emory, we had like the Chainsmokers come one year and J. Cole, so they bring some pretty big names. And the best part about Dooley's Week is that students can write poems to Dooley. And if your poem is selected, Dooley will come to your classroom and release your class for the day. And so it's kind of on every Emory student's bucket list to have a class released by Dooley at least once in their 4 years. And I would say this is just, you know, the warm weather is here, the end of the semester is in sight, and it's a really good way to kind of get students through that final push of the semester.
Awesome. Seton Hall?
I'm actually going to have Jay, since she is actually a current student, so she could probably give a better overview on that. So Jay, if you could give your favorite tradition, please.
Yeah, sure. So I am a junior at Seton Hall, so I've gotten to experience this twice so far. But Seton Hall is about on the top 5 list for best Christmas spirit. We have a really big tree on our campus, like in the middle on the green. You might be able to see it right back there. But we decorate it with about, I don't even remember the number, but it's a crazy number of LED lights. We have a whole ceremony. The choir performs, the band performs, dance team performs. There's a big stage. The whole green is decorated with lights. It's really fun. They give out blue Santa hats. There's cookies, hot chocolate, coffee, apple cider, all kinds of fun stuff. It's basically like towards the end of our semester, so it's kind of kicking off like the push of the last parts of the semester. Everyone looks forward to it. Some professors might even cancel classes for it. I've had a class canceled for the tree lighting ceremony. So it's really fun. Almost everybody that lives on campus, at least, is out there on the green counting down for us to light up that tree. So it's a really fun tradition. I enjoy it. And I'm going to miss it this semester because I'm not on campus. So.
Thanks, Jay. That's actually my favorite part too.
Awesome. Suffolk?
Sure. So I think my favorite tradition that we have is kind of our opening week, our opening ceremony. So it's kind of multifaceted, but I think the highlights are we have a student involvement fair, and a lot of schools will do it on their green, but because our green is Boston Common, all of our students spread tables across the Boston Common, and it's kind of just a day where new students and older students come and they try to find clubs and connections and friendships. So it's cool because you are on this this historic space, but you're having your own college experience. And then we wrap up that week with a boat cruise in the Boston Harbor. I'm not from Boston, I can't say it like that. So we have a boat cruise in the Boston Harbor, and it's a great way to, again, get to the city and have that Suffolk touch too.
Great. Will, University of Chicago?
Sure. We have lots of really good ones. I think one that we don't talk about enough is our annual Aims of Education address, which takes place at the beginning of each year, where we bring together the entire first year class and a lot of other classes as well to kind of talk through exactly what we're doing each year at the University of Chicago. So we invite a faculty member to give their perspective on the value of the liberal arts and education, what our goals for the year should be, and then we convene, for a second session within our our house lounges and clubs to provide a more personal and introspective perspective on what it means to each of us. I think it provides a really nice boost for folks who are just getting used to college, but also like a nice introduction to the discussion style that is so popular within all classes in Chicago, but especially in our core curriculum.
That was fun. Thank you. There are some questions, but the time is up pretty much. But before you guys go, I'd like to take a screenshot. I was trying to take one before, but I promise I won't use any of those because somebody wasn't looking at each time. And but you do get the transcript of the question, so you can privately answer the students. And then I'd just like to take one little picture if everybody wants to look at the camera. Thank you. I see you doing that, Liz. All right. Well, we really appreciate you guys spending time with us today. We had a lot of students on this session. I'm sure they were really excited to see you. They stayed till 5 o'clock. School's out at 3:30, so you should be proud of that. And they also, a lot of them took the PSAT this morning or the SAT, so long day for them.
And we just want to remind all the presenters, if you can fill out the quick survey when you click out of Zoom.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
And